Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. Cliff Ravenscraft here. This is an Ask Me Anything session. I am going to format my SD card on my Rodecaster so that I have a recording backup here. Uh, Same thing as always. If you are new to our replays here, I don't see anybody streaming live yet, so I'm talking only to replay people. I host How May I Serve You? Ask Me Anything live sessions where anyone and everyone is invited to join me via a Zoom session and ask me anything. I'm here to be of support and encouragement. There is no ulterior motive. This is not a part of a sales funnel or anything like that. I'm just here to show up and serve and do the thing I most love to do in the world. So if you have anything going on in your world and I can be of support and encouragement to you, I would love to do that. Join me, cliffravenscraft.com/join. And then let's see here at 2:30 p.m. I'm just putting a timer on here. I'm going to be here for at least 90 minutes, whether anybody joins me or not. I'm hitting the record button now, so that is done. And yeah, I'm just waiting for the first person to join me. Again, want to let you know if you're watching the replay, I never know if anyone is going to join me for any of these sessions. If someone does join me, I don't know who that's going to be. And also, when somebody joins me, I have no idea what the conversation will be about, what topic. It's all open to divine timing. And I'm okay to just sit here in silence for 90 minutes all by myself with nobody joining me. I've had that happen one time, and I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm not here to perform anything. I'm just here to be of service. So if you would like to join me, feel free to do so. I'm going to sit here and work on some things that I've got going on my desktop until the first person joins me today. Hello? MacBook microphone. Well, that's weird. You're not supposed to be getting the microphone from the MacBook. There it is. Well, goodness. I guess I might have opened up this live stream without my Rodecaster Pro. I'm not a fan. I mean, it's better than other tools, but it comes with its frustrations. Anyway, if anybody is interested in joining me today, I am here to serve you. I happen to have a live Zoom call, cliffravenscraft.com/join. If anybody would like to engage with me, ask me anything, if I can be of any support and or encouragement to you. That's what I'm doing here. John, the answer to the question is yes. I am wanting someone to come on Zoom with me and have a conversation where I can be of any support and encouragement. So if you go to cliffravenscraft.com/join, there's a Zoom call, and you can come via your desktop or your mobile device, and it will bring you right on up here. I would love to interact with you, and be standing by if you are interested. And this goes for anyone else that might be out there on the live stream. John says that he is coming. Awesome. John, I'll be standing by, my friend, eager to interact with you. As I get prepared here, let me just get my notes app open here. Today is 8/11/2025. John Ruddock. So we'll just wait for John to get into the Zoom here and see what's going on in his world. Excited to have a conversation where I can be of any support and encouragement. If anybody else wants to join, again, cliffravenscraft.com/join right there. Live Zoom call standing by. I'll just keep this up here until John gets here. I'm just checking to make sure that my live Zoom button is there. I imagine I have the right call open. Yep, it's the right call. Okay, here comes John. He is just now getting logged in. John, how are you? You're muted on your end, it looks like.
Can you hear me?
I do, and I think you might
I'm
still
good.
have
Let
me in the
me
background.
hold on one second here. One, two.
I do, and I think you might still have me in the background.
Can you hear me, Cliff?
Yes. John, how can
Yeah.
I be of service? John, how can I be of service to you today?
Well, I um didn't I just like found this like real fast when it popped up on my screen there. I didn't know exactly what you were doing. It just said you were waiting, so I thought, well, I'll jump on there.
Awesome.
Anyways,
I'm
yeah.
so I'm looking for divine timing appointments. So I just make myself available for 90 minutes
Oh,
each day. I'm streaming live, and
I
if
got
any,
the book here.
all right, there you go. And I'm just waiting to be of service to anyone. Any
All right.
conversation, any topic. What's on your mind today? How can I be of value to you?
Well, let's see. Probably, I would think, Cliff, maybe I probably got two or three things running through my brain, a couple of projects I've been working on. Um, I first discovered you, Cliff, several years ago, actually, back probably around, I'm going to say 2016 or 2017, while doing some research on a podcast. The Podcast Answer Man website came up. And that's when I actually started following you. And I think I might have even sent a friend request or something on Facebook, maybe at that time. So it's been a good while. And I've been doing some podcasting, uh, not so much on the audio side, but I do a lot of live stream. And I kind of find that that's my main niche rather than sitting down and recording something. I seem to do better with a live audience, and now I've been live streaming for, man, since really it started. They started released it with Facebook, and I enjoy live streaming. We've taken it up a notch to include YouTube. I do a morning devotional every morning at 7:30. It's called the Wake Up Call, and we've now published, I don't know how, we've got a total of 700 and like 60, 65 videos on that YouTube channel now. And most of them are shorts. We have the live stream in the shorts. I've got one long form on there, and I intend to put more on there. But we're getting a lot of traction on YouTube as opposed to Facebook. We've got recently crossed 80,000 views on our shorts in a very short period of time, actually, and we're getting a lot of traction there. We are wanting to, one of the things I'm wanting to do, and that I'm investigating. We have uh, I have a marketing company agency that's predominantly works with dentists and high end cosmetic dentists and oral implant, um, oral surgeons and that sort of thing. So we've established a great business. We've had that for a long time, and we have basically a base. That's our cash flow business. It grows. We do real well. We have 98% client retention. Client doctors have been with me for, I've got doctors been with me 10, 15 years. But I wanted to launch out, I have a goal to monetize 2 YouTube channels before the end of the year, and, and that sort of thing. But the thing that interests me the most, Cliff, is membership sites. That's what interests me the most, and but in particular the school communities on school. Of course, Hermosi and those guys, they've been, talking about school. I've gone over there. I've actually joined a couple of school communities, just to some paid ones and some free ones, just to kind of see what they were about, and how things were done on there and that sort of thing. I um I'm somewhat of a perfectionist in the sense that I'm, everybody says just start and, get a few videos up and just get started and, start the community and that sort of thing. And a couple of people that I've been following and learning from in this space of communities and memberships, they said you can start the community and start charging for it and not even have the first video up. I'm like, I don't know about that sort of thing for me. But I also tend to want to have to, and they all say don't create everything at one time. Just do it as you go. So kind of start with a process, have a live stream and invite people to it, and then start kind of surveying the audience and stuff from there and then building from there. And that's a difficult thing for me because I'm wanting to show a little bit more value than having one or two videos up there right out of the gate. Uh, I want to I want to provide something to people that's um, really quality um, from my proven track record of helping people over the years. Um, I have I work with a lot of people. I wrote a book several years ago, How to Turn Your Setback into a Comeback. Basically, people who have faced difficult challenges. My wife and I have faced a lot of difficult challenges. The most difficult of all, I think, you can probably come have is the loss of a child, and you don't ever expect to call the funeral home to pick your children up. And how we got through that, different mindset shifts that we had to take during those things. And then times when there were financial setbacks, what did we do to claw out of those things? And so I have been brainstorming the name for this thing as reset your mindset, basically to help people uh, wherever they're at get a different perspective and a new start. So I have put out some videos on this. I've done some live streams on the subject and that sort of thing. And we've gotten a lot of traction on our YouTube shorts. A lot for somebody I'm not a super out front guy like and super well known guy, even though I've been behind a lot of marketing and campaigns that have produced millions and millions of dollars. I'm not the guy that goes out and says, "Give me a bunch of reviews and stuff like that." But yet, the reason my clients keep me around is because I'm producing, on average, in the dental world. This is a very good rate of return or ROI. I produce 8 to 1 for every dollar they spend with me. They make eight, and we've done that, and it's even more with the attorney clients we work with. And so we have we have produced millions of dollars. I helped a large attorney firm during the BP oil spill down in the Gulf, acquiring clients and obtaining settlements and that sort of thing. I've done a lot of that, and where we've produced large amounts of money. Um, so uh, all of that is great, and I enjoy all that. But uh, upon your recommendation several years ago, Gay Hendricks' book on
The Big
uh,
Leap.
Big Leap, yeah, that was the those different zones. And in reading that, listening to you also talk about it, Cliff, several times, I realized that probably I was not operating in my zone of genius, uh, but more. What's the other two are escaping my mind? It was
Zone of
the one
excellence.
a zone of excellence where you can do the thing, you do it well, but it's still not your main thing. And my main thing is uh, that I excel at. My number one gifting My number one gifting, it's been my number one gift. I've known it since I was a kid, is my communication ability, my speaking ability. And that's how I've gotten some of the largest clients that I've ever had was through speaking. Now, I've also been in the ministry for years and years. I pastored for years, traveled in evangelistic work for years. I've did crusades in Mexico and places like that all over. I'm at home in front of a crowd or in front of people or one person. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm very good at it. And holding people's attention for long periods of time, even, I'm very good at it. And recently, over the past couple of years, I've challenged myself to improve it. One of the things that happens to somebody a lot of times that has a natural ability, that's born with an ability to communicate, like, and I was born with it, is that you tend to trust the gift and not even improve on it. So I can get up in front of you, can give me a topic. If you give me 5 minutes, I can get up and talk an hour on it. I'm good at it. But a few months ago, I got John Maxwell's book on the 16, I think, undeniable laws or something like that of communication. And I realized after reading that book, I was really doing myself a disservice and people that I was teaching or or in ministry aspects, ministering to in some way or another, that I was really doing them a disservice by not improving on the gift that I had and making it more effective. So I then kind of set out on a quest to improve uh, my abilities in that area. I just by nature, I am an educator. That is, every client that I've got, when I start to onboard or somebody contacts me for whether it's our marketing company and that sort of thing, they all say the same thing because I spend time with them, educating them, and they all say the same thing. John, I learned more in 1 hour with you than I did from everybody else I've worked for in 10 years, worked with in 10 years. You explained this to me in terms that I could understand, which is one of the things that I did. I started working with dentists over the subject of sleep apnea and the oral appliance. They were trying to figure out how to market it online. So I created a one-page pay-per-click campaign and I dumbed the language down to where the average guy can understand it. And I made this doctor down in Louisiana named Tony Swallow, a dentist named Swallow, go figure. I made him $500,000 that year off that campaign. And so I kind of became the sleep apnea evangelist for all these doctors and started helping them to get more patients. And that opened up the door to bigger offices and that sort of thing. So just listening to my clients, they said, we don't know what's going on and why anybody's doing anything. And we're just writing checks. So I started educating them and I would have Zoom calls and different things like that. And that became very effective in closing those clients and building that business. But it's still in the zone of excellence, not my zone of genius. My zone of genius really has to do with helping people shift the way they think in order to achieve a different level, whether that's on a personal level or on a business level. And we have a unique ability to discern where somebody is at and 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 where they need to go and the steps to get them there. My own perfection, though, is my own desire for everything to be perfect leads me a lot of times to a block because it's never good enough. It can always improve. So because I have an eidetic memory. I don't know if you know what an eidetic memory is, but I have nearly perfect recall back to a year and a half old. So I don't forget things. I have to take melatonin at night to slow my brain down enough for me to go to sleep. Because if I told my wife the other night, I said, if I could attach some machine to my brain that could just type everything that was going through there, there would be just pages and pages of stuff lying around. Because my brain just constantly improves on things. But that's a hindrance to me because I never, uh, it's hard for me to stop and get started because it's just not enough. It's not enough to have one video. I got to have five. And if I have five, it's not enough. Thus, I have 10. And if I have 10, it's not enough. Let's have 20, you know? So it's just this constant block. It's in front of me, information and organizing the information and that sort of thing. I'm a heavy journaler. I got journals laying everywhere, notes everywhere, and that sort of thing. So I've got all of this, and but I guess I need to figure out some way to start this community and realize that I need I need to find a starting place and feel good about the starting place, and not be so overwhelmed with it needing to be perfect and shiny right out of the bat, because I know it's not going to be, but on the same token, my brain says it has to be. Sound familiar?
I'm very familiar with this block, and I appreciate you sharing all of the background and the backstory. When you think about this community, who would the people be that you see becoming members? And what problems do you see that they have that being a part of your community would solve?
Well, I think the mindset issue of having the right mindset, both personally and in business, is pretty broad. So I think probably the first people that I could probably help the most are those who have experienced some type of real life changing setback and they just can't get over the hump.
Okay.
And that could be anything from loss, some type of loss, whether in a relationship, of a family member, of a uh, loss of finance, loss of a business, whatever. I can help people most cope with that. Uh, but I can also help people who have had, especially in the area, who have had tremendous loss of finance, and they've gone through some difficult things, by helping them change their thinking about it, and then reimagine their future uh, differently than what they're in right now. So that group of people that's experienced some type of loss, even trauma to some extent, is probably the first people I can help the most.
Okay. I want you to imagine that this is what your community is there to serve those individuals initially.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to imagine that it's already started.
Mm-hmm.
Given the fact that you're a gifted communicator, I would imagine you have the ability to tell a compelling story. Yes?
Yes.
I would like you to tell
I'm
me
for
the
stories.
story. I'd like you to tell me a story. Imagine 3 years from now. You've had the school community up and running. It's been 3 years. I want you to tell me, starting off with just one story. Make up a name, and I
Mm-hmm.
want you to tell me about the individual who signed up. Let's just say it was the third or the fourth person who registered for this community that you launched.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of that person? What was the loss or trauma or setback that they had? How bad were they stuck? What was it costing them? And how did being a part of this community radically transform their experience? And what is their life today now that it's been transformed? Now, again, you're telling me this story as if you launched this. So basically, you're telling me the story as if you launched it in August of 2025, but you're telling me this story in August of
28.
2028.
Yeah. I would, let's see, a person I would tell a story about. The
And
thing
stay
is,
stay in first person. Just make this stuff up. None of this has to be anywhere close to
okay.
reality. I just want you to make up a story.
All right.
But you have
So
to stay in. I'm telling you, Cliff, hey, let me tell you what happened over the last 3 years. Since that conversation you and I had on your live stream, the third person who signed up, his name was, and then go from there.
his name was Bill. And Bill had been very, very successful at one point, very successful at particularly at affiliate marketing. And then he had a dramatic health setback, one that sank him into depression. He couldn't get off the couch hardly to do anything. He began to become extremely overweight. He began then his weight caused some other health problems. It caused him to have to take a lot of medication and that sort of thing. And he just became discouraged with life, even began to feel suicidal at times as a result of the um, health issues and some personal trauma that occurred in his relationship between him and his wife and his children that brought some division and a divide there. Uh, After working the past 3 years with Bill and helping him to reshape his mindset and begin to see the areas that he needed to take responsibility for, to no longer pass the blame off to circumstances, off on depression, off on his wife, off on his children, but accept responsibility for where he's at right now, and then develop strategies, look at the setbacks he's had in his life. First thing, helping him first reframe the setback into something he can learn from, and then developing insights and strategies from recognizing where what happened during those particular times, and then helping him to reframe his mindset to move forward in it, and how to deal with his wife. Why is she feeling disappointed? Why is she feeling like she's been let down? Simply because all women need security, and when the husband is not providing what they feel is that security, then there's going to be breach in the relationship. So how do you repair that? And then the relationship with the children, because sometimes they're siding with one parent or the other. And so, how do you get that? How do you return to full blown leadership in your family and lead first relationally with your family, and then start leading, working your way out of the setback, out of the financial obstacles? How do you take control again of your health? Are there things that you can do right now that uh, will start and just a small action, get some small wins, because that's one thing we preach to everybody is get the small wins
Tell
along
me,
the way.
keep it to Bill. I want to hear Bill's small wins.
All
What
right.
was it? What would you say was one of Bill's
Well,
small wins?
the first small win that Bill had was to get off of sodas. So he was drinking lots of sugary sodas. He's putting on weight. He's getting sluggish. He's getting weighted down. And he basically starts medicating with food. So the first thing to do is get him off the sodas. You get him off the sodas, he starts dropping a little weight because he's not drinking all the sugar and that sort of thing. So as he drops a little bit of weight, we start celebrating the win. And it's just maybe a pound or two, but we celebrate the pound or two because every pound is a win.
Do
So
me
we
a favor
help him.
to make this incredibly powerful for you, John. Speak about this in past tense. Use past
Okay.
tense
All
language.
right. All right. Thank you. So Bill began to get off of sodas. He started losing weight. And as he lost weight, his confidence began to come back up as he began to see that with some guidance and with some help, he could begin to get back to where he wanted to be. And he would take some greater chances. He would begin to evaluate himself a little bit more and begin to take the necessary steps. So after he got off of sodas, and then the next thing he did is quit eating junk food. And after he got past the junk food and that sort of thing, a little more weight came off. He began to feel better about himself. So then we helped guide him through into the relationship area. So we told him some things. This is what you need to do with your wife and your children. You need to make some quality time for your wife and children. So he began to do that. He began to make some quality time for his wife. He began to date her again. He began to set aside that time where she could expect to have his undivided attention, and he would give her that undivided attention, uninterrupted by the kids, by the phone, by social media, by all of those things. And then their relationship began to repair, and as they got on the same page, they pulled the kids up with them. So when they pulled the kids up with them, then the family unit became whole. And now there is a support system in place for Bill to begin to take the next steps. And so Bill is feeling better. He's doing better. So now he's getting back out doing what he loves. And he goes out now and he realizes that to get to where he wants to be, he's got the next step Bill has to do is find a job. So he finds a job and he
Do me a
starts
favor,
working.
stay in past tense. You're jumping into what he needs to do, but what he did. Remember, Bill joined
Yeah.
this thing 3 years ago.
So Bill finds a job, and now Bill is doing good. He's been promoted in the company. His mindset is different. He's making more money. And now Bill is starting to, the next level is we start to find out with Bill. We said, Bill, now what's the dream in your heart? What do you want to do? Where are you born to do? So Bill tells us, well, I always really enjoyed online marketing and affiliate marketing. And so we say, okay, what's the next steps to get back to that? So Bill gets back into affiliate marketing. He starts out as an Amazon associate and he starts recommending products and developing some income there. So then after 3 years, Bill, who was at home, uh, unhealthy relationship, his relationship with his kids were a complete tragedy. Now he has a solid family foundation. He's assumed responsibility as the head of his house in securing finances and helping his family to be financially secure, but also emotionally secure, spiritually secure. And now Bill's life is on a better trajectory, and he's working now toward fulfilling his real true desires and calling.
I love that. How did Bill first hear about your school community?
Well, he would probably first heard about it on Facebook or YouTube Live, Facebook Live or YouTube Live,
Okay, we're
something
making
along that
things
line.
up. Nothing has to be
Uh-huh.
true. This is a story. We're still in 2028. Just pick one. How did Bill first discover your school community?
Bill first discovered our community on Facebook Live.
All right.
He
So
was
you
invited by a friend who shared a link with him. He came on, saw what we were talking about, felt to reach out and see if we could help him or not.
and did Bill tell you that he was suicidal at the time?
No.
All right. But you later found out that he was suicidal when he opened up. So what did he share with you?
He shared that the grief of being unemployed and his health being down and his family being basically torn apart because of his health issues and his not having a job led him to a place of real discouragement and depression, and felt like that they would probably be better off without him than they would be with him.
So he did actually indicate that he might be suicidal.
Yeah, later on in the
Oh, later
conversation.
on in the conversation. But when he
Yeah,
first came across that live stream that he was invited to, he did not. And so
yeah.
what did he present to you? how did he make the leap from the live stream and becoming a registered member of this community?
He made the leap when we uh, basically after sharing our own personal stories of how we made comebacks from very difficult situations. And we've always been open and honest about those situations. Then Bill felt he could identify with us because um, we had been through and we're conveying that we had been through the same things that he was going through at that particular time.
So basically, Bill was invited by a friend who knew the depths of his despair.
Yeah, his pain, knew his
He,
pain.
his friend knew the light that you and your wife offer through your live streams. He tunes in. His heart and soul resonates deeply with the stories that you so authentically and transparently shared. And all of a sudden, something ignited in his soul. It rekindled hope, possibility. And somehow he heard about your skull community. So was it some sort of call to action there? How did he make the leap from this live stream where he resonates? How did he hear about your skull community?
Oh, well, he would he he heard about it. It's hard for me to talk.
I know it's okay. Trust me. There is a very real psychological reason why I'm having you speak it
Yeah,
as if
yeah,
it's truly already happened.
yeah, yeah, and I see that. Um, so he heard about the school community on the live stream, and our invitation to uh, come and uh, join up and get a couple of free videos beforehand, and then that led him to the community afterwards. After we brought
And
him to a couple of launch videos that explain what we were doing and how we would do it, and let them know the process, and then send
okay,
them to join the community.
so let me ask you a question. So you had this live stream. He's resonating deeply. He's feeling hope and all this other stuff. And there's a call to action to do something, but does the live stream bringing through a bunch of launch videos, or is he just or did you do a live stream and he heard that you have a community where there's other people where they also are experiencing setbacks and you're there with a community of people to support, and he's like, dude, how do I need to participate in this?
Well, then I I don't want to send him somewhere else. Then I probably would send it directly from the live stream right directly to the school sign up page
There you go.
because
Wow.
he's warm. Yeah, he's warm
Yeah.
at
So
that
then
time.
then he jumps in, and how does he get support? What tell me Bill's
So when
Bill's
he jumps
experience.
into the he jumps Bill jumps into the community. When he gets into the community, he finds a lot of other people who are like minded, like him, that are offering their advice. And that's the whole purpose of community, is to get people together who can share their wins and their struggles, and together work them out. And that's what Bill is looking for. He's looking for somebody to understand what he's going through and help him to work through it, and not just with somebody who has the expert advice, but people who are currently or have currently gone through a struggle.
So Bill jumps in here. He sees a bunch of people introducing themselves, telling their stories, the introductions he's reading, and the encouragement they're getting, and the things that they're sharing, and the breakthroughs. He's just observing for a little bit, and then ultimately, it sounds to like Bill then goes in and has the courage to finally introduce himself and share where he is and his struggles. And you're saying some other incredibly supportive people are in there building into him, pouring in in inspiration and hope and it's leading and maybe pointing out some resources that are available inside of the community program. But you want to know what I notice here?
What's that?
Bill's life wasn't transformed because you had a bunch of fancy quality videos.
Yeah, I know it. Good point, Cliff Ravenscraft. Good point. Yeah, his life's transformed more by the interaction with other people going through the same thing he's going through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would somebody pay for that? I wonder. I don't know. Value. That's the other thing I think about. People who are going through setbacks. It's kind of a little bit of a mental block for me in the sense of if they're going through setbacks, especially if it's somebody who's going through a financial setback. Sometimes the financial end of it could be a strain for them, and I see that as well. But here the other thing is people do not value what they don't value what they don't invest in. They just never do.
I've heard that a lot, John. I've heard that phrase so many times. And would you agree that if we hear something over and over and over and over again, we might tend to believe that it's true without questioning it?
I think that's true. I think that can be true, but I will say this: I only read books. Me personally, I only read books I buy. I don't read any books hardly that anybody's ever given me. I
Yeah.
don't see. Uh, and the other thing is whether it's $1 or $100, money seems to harness people to a commitment. Whereas, if if I invest, and I know you've got a couple of masterminds that you work with, uh, if if I if I invest, I'm more apt to show up, be attentive, that sort of thing. I have found those, and in my business, I have clients that have smaller budgets than others. The ones that are in the larger budget range never bug me. They never have too many problems. They're committed to the process. I meet with them. I show them what we're doing and why we're doing it. We produce results. The ones in the smaller budget range tend to micromanage, and you're constantly having to babysit them. So then I don't know. What's your thoughts? I'm here to listen to you.
Well, there's certainly anecdotal evidence to support that those who invest at high levels, who have incredible financial margins, who have resources financially to pay for things with greater ease than others, they tend to micromanage less. I certainly have experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that leans towards a different truth than the idea that if somebody doesn't pay for something, they don't value it. I think it might be quite a leap to go from the anecdotal evidence of there's less micromanaging with clients who are struggling financially compared to those who but it's another thing to say that the person who gets something for free doesn't value that thing that's free and doesn't take action on that thing that's free. Here's what you asked my thoughts, and my thoughts are if I hear people say that nobody truly values something unless they've got some sort of skin in the game, and dollars are really an incredible motivator, and if I adopt that as a belief, then what I will do is I will find evidence either from my past experiences and or current experiences, and I will forever look for all future experiences that will validate what I believe to be true. And for me to continue to do that, my brain, I have to understand, has this auto success mechanism. It says, I want you to help me stay in alignment with what I believe to be true. And so the brain is consistently confronted with trillions of bits of data all the time. And consciously, we can only bring in and focus on so much. So our brain distorts, deletes, and generalizes a lot of information away. And if we've already made a conclusion that people who don't pay money don't take things seriously, then we tell our brain, I don't need you to look for any evidence to go against that because I already know this to be true. And so the brain says, why bother giving you anything to go against what you believe to be true? You're pretty set in your way. You're ready to go. Here's what I would share with you, my thoughts on this. So there was a time when I spoke at the very first ever platform conference for Michael Hyatt. And he said, Cliff, wow, what an incredibly powerful talk that you gave. Your gift of communication, your gift of telling story is amazing. Your energy on stage is palpable. There's only one thing. If we were to poll our audience, and there was just over 100 people in the audience for that very first event, if we were to poll the audience and ask them, what was the main message that Cliff shared with this audience, we'd probably come up with about 30 or 40 or 50 different answers to that question, because you did not communicate clearly exactly what the purpose of your message. Now, he didn't say all of these things, by the way, but in essence, what he said is like, Cliff, wow, Ken and I, his business partner, Ken Davis, would absolutely love to invite you back and speak again on the topic of launching a podcast. But we would like to ask you, would you be willing to come to the SCORE Speaker Training Conference in Colorado? Ken has a whole separate conference that teaches people how to communicate professionally from a stage.
I know who he is. I've seen it.
Yep.
I've seen some of his stuff. Yeah, it's
And
awesome.
and they said, listen, normally we don't give things away for free. We would like to gift you full VIP treatment to the SCORE Speaker Conference because we trust that you will value it. And I will tell you right now, I went and I became a star student. I went there and I poured everything I had into it. Did I pay a penny for it? No. I then later, subsequently, not only did I get so much value, not only did it radically transform my ability to communicate on a stage and every podcast episode since, I have since gone back and invested thousands of dollars to attend that event 3 more times on my own dime, just because I took it that serious. So that is one story to share with you, a guy who got something for free and took it just as seriously as anyone who paid the highest amount for it. And then one other anecdotal story for you is that you mentioned the fact that I've hosted mastermind groups, and I've hosted quite a few mastermind groups. And I've hosted paid mastermind groups. From November 2017 through June of 2025, I facilitated 2 groups known as the Next Level Mastermind and generated nearly $1.5 million in revenue from people who had skin in the game at a pretty significant level. However, since October 2010, I have facilitated a mastermind group that has met every single week and continues to this day. What is that, 12, 13 years later, 14 years, whatever, actually 15 years later. 15 years later, we still meet 50 weeks out of the year every week. And practically everyone shows up. By the way, there are 6 of us in the group. There's myself and 5 other individuals. However, we all show up pretty much consistently every week, with the rare, it's like, hey, I've got a business trip, or hey, I've got a doctor's appointment that couldn't have been anything else. But still, 15 years every week, and we're still meeting every week, and not one person has ever paid a penny to be a part of this group. And by the way, those people are Michael Stelzner, owner of Social Media Examiner, Pat Flynn
Yeah.
from Everything on the Internet, Leslie Samuel, Mark Mason, who happens to be a high-end leader in Texas Instruments. These are people who have busy schedules, and the mere fact that they would even devote an hour every week for 12 to 15 years, because Pat and I go back 15 years. The other guys are like closer. Actually, they're 13 years. But still, all of us, every week, not a penny paid, but we take it seriously. So my thought, my feeling is that this idea, if we believe that nobody's really going to truly value what we do unless we give them some sort of paywall, is that actually true?
Well, I do know I coached a couple of people for free. One particular lady, and you might even be friends with her on Facebook. I gave away a couple of free coaching sessions just because in this particular group we had on Facebook, and there were several that were struggling and had said they were looking for. This woman had just lost her husband to cancer. She was in a pit, and so I said, listen, I'll talk to you, and I had offered 30 minutes, but I said, listen, well, however long it takes, we'll do it. I ended up being on the phone with her for several hours, but got her past a roadblock, and about an hour's time, helped her shift her mindset. Next thing you know, uh, she was she had taken the steps that I gave her. She got out of the position she was in. Her finances changed. She launched her own business in the area of her expertise, where she was really felt like she would be the most profitable, and she's continued on. And man, that's probably been 12 years ago, and she's still thriving to this day. A couple others that we did are still doing well, but she really stands out because it was a pretty dramatic change coming from the loss of a husband and dealing with some other health issues of herself. So
And she never paid
herself.
you a
So
penny, right?
no,
And
but
so
yeah.
so is it true that is it an absolute truth that people don't take things seriously if you give it to them for free?
I don't think it's an absolute truth, but if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say it's a very small percentage of people that if you give them something for free, it's a small percentage of them that actually will take action on it. And
And
and and I still, oh, listen, I give away way more than I don't follow my own advice in that. I really don't, because I give away a lot more than I take in as far as that goes, because people know me as a guy who will help just about anybody. And that's included, like right here where we're at here. Over the past few years, we have, oh man, we've built ramps for people, wheelchair ramps, for handicapped people. We've done uh, one year before last, we did 480 board games to the intermediate school here, so all the kids that would have Christmas presents. And we did and gave a large check to the elementary school for Christmas parties for the kids and things. We do a lot of stuff where, it's basically we give away a lot, and don't ever look for anything in return. But in my mind, it's different in the sense that a lot of that stuff uh, we're doing for the Lord. We do it for Him, and so I'm not looking at that. But when I'm looking at something to support my family and to grow what we're doing, because right now I'm in the middle of a big project called Faith and Freedom.tv. I own a Roku channel and a Amazon Fire channel, and our determination is to grow it into one of the largest faith and conservative voices in the nation. And we've put together the plan. We've been working on it. We have Now you just see my background here, but this is actually a full blown studio here with teleprompters and TVs and junk everywhere and all that. And we are what one of the things we wanted to do was help creators create, basically, in the sense of helping them. We've had people come to us and always want to start a podcast. They don't know where to start, or do video. They don't know where to start. We help them get started. We've already been working with churches and conservative voices for years and years and years. And so we've developed a reputation in being able to do that, put people onto equipment, give them a plan to get started and that sort of thing. But our goal is to take voices like yours, like Ray Edwards or any of those guys, and conservative voices that are particularly more found on YouTube, like Patrick McDavid and some of these others, and take them and bring them into these platforms, and then give them space on television that they would not have had. We've already paid for all of the streaming platforms, the software, and everything. So our goal is to amplify our our theme is amplify your digital voice. Truth needs a microphone. And that's what our merch is starting. All our merch is being developed around that. Amplify your digital voice. Truth needs a microphone. All of that. So we're getting out and doing a lot of that. A lot of we just want to help people get to where and I think everybody has something to say. They just need to figure out how to say it. And we want to try to help them across. Like I tried audio podcasting. I've got a Buzzsprout account. you know, I tried that. It's not as effective for me to try to do that as opposed to taking a live stream and then taking the live stream and turning it into a podcast. So, do you get that many spam calls a day?
I get 0 spam calls a day.
You must have some app or something. I got like 500 of them already.
It's a function of the phone, and it's called Do Not Disturb. And
Oh,
I never get any phone calls. The only phone calls that are allowed to come through to my phone is it's set up to where it will allow my wife and my 3 kids, my mom and my dad. That's the only thing that will ring my telephone. Everyone else will go to voicemail.
oh, I guess I need a lesson on that. Anyways, but yeah, I just want to I want to help people, but in the same token, I guess what I'm trying to say is the things that I do, I need to monetize in order to fund our vision
Okay.
without begging for people. I can't stand, I cannot stand these preachers and ministries that get up and constantly, you know, we need this much or going off the air. I just say go off the air. I don't want to manipulate people. I want to get paid for what I do and get paid for my expertise in what I do, like I do with my dental business. We get paid well for that. We're a retainer business, and we've done extremely well. We've
So,
been really
is
blessed.
there any way that I
But,
can help you, like where you feel stuck that that's not possible?
well, you really have already helped me, and whether you realize it or not, with this little role playing thing here, because you helped me to think about 2 or 3 things I didn't think about before. Which and then your comment at the end, this didn't take 20 shiny videos to do it, you know. So I'm thinking, well, I just probably need to set the community up, put an intro video in there, and then just add content to it. One of the things we found that's very successful is taking our live streams and turning it into consumable content on other platforms. My whole philosophy of make one piece of content, see if I can turn it into 5 or 6 other pieces, you know.
John, let me
So,
pause you for just a minute and ask you a couple
sure,
clarifying questions. So, first question I
sure.
have is I want to make sure I heard. So, one piece of valuable insight that you've gotten from our conversation is you don't need 20 or you don't even need 10 or 15 or even 5 super high quality, shiny, polished videos that are nearing perfection to start your school community. In fact, one might argue that Bill will never look at one of your videos, or when he goes to register, he's there just for the community and conversation and connection with other people. And maybe you do have a video, but maybe it's just a recording of live streams and it's not super polished. And you could publish, though, you could do some polished stuff as you have time, but right now you just do with what you have the bandwidth to do, and it allows a Bill to hear your live stream, to resonate with it, to hear that you have a community, and make a decision to go sign up. And the only thing that could stand in Bill's way from having the transformation that you have is that you're somehow are waiting until you have a bunch of polished videos. And so you recognize that's a pretty significant
Yeah,
insight from
yeah,
our conversation.
yeah. It is. It is.
All right.
Yeah. The longer I delay, it could be delaying somebody else their breakthrough, basically.
That is exactly the point of the exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that.
We didn't get to resolution yet, though, about how your perception for some reason is that Bill might not be able to pay given the situation that you painted for us. And yet you were like, we're dancing around this idea and this concept that in your mind, even still during our conversation, that there's seeming some high percentage of people who would never take advantage or wouldn't really benefit truly unless you charged them for it. So where are you on that concept right now? And what would you charge for this? And how would Bill get in given his financial situation?
Well, so this is, I have examined this subject quite deeply, to the point that I spent an entire day on school looking at all the faith-based communities, opportunities, also anything to do with, mindset, attraction, all of those sort of things. And here's what I discovered. If in these communities, let's say you do a community on the law of attraction, how to have more whatever in your life by doing this, that they'll charge $97 a month for that community. Okay. Go over here to the faith-based communities, and them dudes are getting barely getting $10 a month. Most of them are all free, and they're getting, and the ones that are paid, people don't. I'm just doing for the research. Is if it's something faith-based or perceived as some type of faith-based, people have a harder time paying for that, but they'll go over here and pay this guy. Like there's a guy on there just $47 a month for pickleball lessons. They'll pay him 47 for that. Now their life's not going to be changed by playing pickleball, other than they may live a little longer, since they say paddle racket sports people live longer than any other athlete on the planet. They'll pay that guy $47 to learn pickleball. And then this thing over here that will help them get stuck out of their relationship or out of the business situation. And it's from a faith-based perspective. They don't want to cough up $10 a month for that.
And who's
So
told you that?
I literally looked at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these communities on there.
Well, could
And
it be possible that so you've gone in and you've looked at these faith-based communities and they're asking for $10 a month and nobody's joined? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, they're very, very, very low membership, like
Okay.
10 members, 12 members,
Are they
22 members.
are they 10 member memberships where 10 people are paying $10 a month?
Some of them. Yeah.
Well, is that not evidence that at least 10 people would be willing to pay $10 a month for a faith-based membership?
Well, I think it is.
And
But
could it not be that the person running the membership just hasn't figured out how to clearly
it's
communicate the
possible.
value?
Don't cut me too deep, Cliff. Don't cut
I
me too.
I I hey, here's what
I
I will tell
understand.
you.
I'm
If
with
we
you.
have these perceptions, how we proceed, this is what gets us blocked. What I'm hearing,
Yeah.
John, is you're saying, Cliff, I have this desire to create a school community, and I seem to be blocked. And a couple of things that are blocking me. One was I believe that I'm a perfectionist. I have the ability to do quality content. And man, I really want to get a good 10, 15, 20 videos put together before I do this thing. When obviously, if to your own description, here's the thing. Every single time I sit down to think about this video, a couple of more days and or weeks pass, and I've learned even more about how to make it even more perfect. And so there by your own definition, there will never be a time when you will have videos at the quality for which you think you need to start the school community. And so if all I'm doing is actually revealing, like, hey, is there a different way to perceive this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you might have some people who you could potentially have a free tier for somebody who is in a bill situation. Maybe you normally charge $27 a month, $47 a month, $97 a month. However, here's an application you can fill out.
And I'm going to tell you something. That was the pricing in the exact order that I had it written down that I would charge just say 27, 47, 97 exact order.
That's just because I'm in this community and this is the numbers that
Yeah.
people throw out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
but John, you could literally have, here's a 27, 47, and or $97 tier. But you could actually have, it's like, hey, if this community is resonating with you and you're in a situation where even this modest amount is not possible, here's an application for you to fill out. And we may have somebody who would be willing to cover that for you. And by the way, that person could be yourself if you chose to do so based upon somebody's real, genuine story.
Mm, well, I hadn't thought about that. There,
And
there
what
are Hermosi, he tells them in his school thing, coaching thing, he tells them, give it away free, build the community up, and then start charging, type of deal. Where he said you build such value as your first month, you're getting the videos, people are communicating and that sort of thing. And then you tell them after a month, this is going to turn into 27 or whatever dollars per month. But give it away at free, at first. And it's almost, like the 30-day or 90-day money back guarantee we offer on info products or whatever we sell online like that. If you're not happy, we'll give you your money back type of deal. Well, it's basically the same thing, except you're not collecting the money up front. You're just delaying that and saying, listen, we guarantee you like it so much, you're going to want to pay the $27 or 47 or whatever out there. And, um, my vision is pretty big. It's pretty big what I want to do. And I'm getting some influencers who are starting to get on board. Some particularly big influencers here in the state of Texas. One guy that ran for governor has got a large following, and some others. And it's a big vision, and I want to fund that vision. I don't want to borrow a pile of money. I don't want to do that. I want to fund this vision off of the providing services or something, some way that I can create income that's going to fund the vision. However that happens, whether it's through ebook sales or through software sales or whatever, all the avenues that we have out there. Um, we've done very well, and we're extremely blessed. I, I've, I'm well taken care of, but my vision is way bigger than I am. There's no way I can do it by myself. There's no way. Someone once said, if your vision is small enough for you to accomplish it, it probably wouldn't take God to help you. But if your vision is huge and it's beyond you, it'd take Him to do it. He'll get all the glory out of it. So that's the way I pursue vision. Is I want it to be bigger than me. I want it to be where it's not just me. If I could do it, there's nothing to it. But if I want it to be big and I want it to be impactful. I told my wife and kids the other day, I said, when I leave this world, I want to leave exhausted. And I don't mean tired. I want to leave exhausted. I don't want to leave any gift, any talent, any opportunity, anything on the table. I want to exhaust every ounce of impact I can, every dime that I can, every avenue that I can that would benefit and help men and women, boys and girls anywhere. I want to exhaust it. I want to leave it all on the table. I don't want to have nothing undone. I want it to all get accomplished. And I don't retirement is a nasty word to me. I don't want to retire. If I live to be 100, I want to have strength and keep putting it out, keep helping, keep encouraging, keep blessing, keep building up at 100, just the same way I'm doing it at 57. So that's I want to live that way. I don't want to. People say, "Well, I'm going to retire." I said, "You're just going into boredom." I don't want to do that. I want to live and exhaust. We're looking at right now one of the things we're doing. We have a team here. I've got graphics and designers and video editors. One of the things we're looking at here, one thing I discovered a long time ago, the most successful people I know were like C and B students. Uh, all the people I went to school with that were honor roll A students, you got to hold them by the hand to get them anywhere. But the C and B students are very creative. They think outside the box and they realize they need help and they go get it. So one of the things we're looking at doing, I actually got this idea from Patrick, but David was is to go to the schools, create a program in the schools. We take the worst kids in the school, 20 to 30 of them who are not doing well, and we begin to help them do well and show them a different path to education and learning than what they get from the school system that's actually failing in a whole lot of ways. So uh, that's that's kind of vision we have. We want to impact people not just for today. Not you know you familiar with the story of the woman at the well in the book of John,
Mm-hmm.
John chapter 4? It was Jacob's well. That well had been dug 4,000 years before Jesus met that lady there. 4,000 years. What well you dig today, somebody's going to drink out of it tomorrow. So you better dig a deep well. And my wells, I want my well deep so that
Oh,
people are still spooning out of it later on. They're still dipping water out of it. And
so
then remember,
so is there any additional way that I could be of service or encouragement to you or support to you in this vision? And or has what we've had in this space been beneficial?
oh, it's been beneficial. Yeah. Cause I hadn't thought about some of these things at all. Cliff. Not at all. When I just saw you getting on here, I'm like, nobody's jumped on. He's just sitting there in silence. So I'm going to
Oh
see
yeah,
what's going
this is
on. So
this
I
is what
jumped
I
on.
do. Let
But
me, John. Can I share with you my vision? Just in case, do you have a
sure.
few minutes? I'll share with you my vision.
Yeah. I got all the time you want me. Go ahead.
Here's my vision. My vision is I asked myself if I didn't care about money at all, if money
Mhm.
weren't a thought that ever crossed my mind or needed to be a thought that crossed my mind, what would I do with my life? And the answer to that question was very simple. I would show up very frequently, nearly every single day, and I would make myself available to be of support and encouragement to anyone who crosses my path. And
Well, I've
then,
noticed you've done some of these before, and I've seen a few people jump on. So that's
yep,
your vision. And
my vision is to be of encouragement to others in a way that is not rushed, that has no judgment, that has full compassion, that helps people share what it is their vision is, where they're going, what they've got, to share what they think might be an area where they're stuck, and then to ask some questions to help them see through maybe some limited perceptions and beliefs that might be holding them back from the next obvious step. And so that's that. It's like, man, this is what I want to do with my life. If money were no object, I'd be doing this all day, every day, for free.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and
then,
that's the way I feel about communication and speaking. See, I would get up and talk, and I'd go places and teach where they've ever paid me, or teach, speak, or whatever, where they ever paid me a dime or not.
yeah,
It's because I love it that much
and then the next level is, do I need to wait until I'm in such a financial position
to do that.
to do that? And the answer was obviously no. Why wait until some arbitrary day down the road where that might be a possibility? What's keeping me from devoting anywhere between 90 minutes, 1.5 hours, all the way up to 3 or 4 or even 5 hours a day, showing up and just being available for support and encouragement with no agenda, no sales funnel, no marketing message, just there to be of support and encouragement to people? What is keeping me from doing that as many as 5 days a week, every single week, without expecting anything in return? And the answer to that question is nothing's keeping me from that. And
Well,
so that's what
let
I'm
me
doing.
let me, let me say this to you, Cliff. Our lives are seeds, and we're sowing, whether we're sowing all the time in some aspect. Now, what you're talking about doing your vision, you've been showing up here, showed up for me here today. That's been very beneficial to me. But I would say you've been doing this a long time, maybe without realizing it. I have followed you and your journey from the little office space with your Behringer compressor and
Yep.
your Mackie board underneath your desk, and uh, your weight loss challenges,
And
and
my
that's
weight gain challenge, by the way. I
well,
celebrate it all.
celebrate it all. Yeah, I celebrate over ribeye right now. I'm doing carnivore, so I've lost about I from my heaviest point, I'm down about 100,
That's
but
awesome.
I've lost probably 50 or 60 in the past few months. But you've been there, and people have been encouraged, I think, by your life and your transparency. There's a lot of people in this realm of marketing, this online stuff that we do, podcasting, live streaming, videos, YouTube, whatever we're doing, and we that aren't transparent. You see a lot of huff and puff and fluff, and then a few months later, you see that they're broke, their families. I'm under the persuasion, and I've often said, yeah, you can have a lot of money in the bank, but if your kids can't stand you, you're not very wealthy. You've got to it's a balanced life, and my kids, my son works for me. Two of my sons work for me. One of them's 19 across the hall. He's got Asperger's, and he comes. He's a genius at technology and stuff. Socially, he's pretty backwards, and I have a real solid family, and my kids. When I pull up in the yard, my kids celebrate when I'm home. That's more important to me than any amount of money on the planet.
Yeah.
So let me just say, I've watched you over these years in your with your family, how you treat your wife, how you talk about her, how you talk about your kids, and that sort of thing. And I have seen you looking to help a lot of people, and you have helped a lot of people, I think, whether directly or indirectly. You probably, I would say, probably your indirect impact has been more than your direct impact.
Oh
I
yeah.
believe that there's a lot more people out there like me that's just, we don't get engaged because I don't bother people every day. I got plenty of stuff to do without bugging you every day. But they follow, they see your life, they see what you do, and they see you grow, and they see you uh, fight through things. And that's the kind of transparency I'm looking for out of the relationships. I don't want to know about all your successes, and I don't care about your planes. I don't care about planes. I don't care about fast cars and stuff like that. I don't care about any of that. Our At the end of the day, what matters is our integrity, our word, and our living with honor
Yeah.
is what matters at the end of the day. I think you've done that, Cliff. So
Thank you.
I would say keep doing it. Keep showing up.
And I encourage you to keep doing your vision, whatever, however that looks. I wish you great success with your
Thank
Roku channels
you.
and whatever school community you decide to launch, or if you launch, what just keep following your
Oh, I'm
passion.
gonna launch one. I just you know, if it's like the old Roger Miller song. It said you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd unless you set your mind to it and do it.
Well,
That's
John,
where I just
I'm
have
gonna
to do it.
I'm gonna continue to show up here very consistently. And as long as what I'm doing here continues to feel in alignment with what I feel called to do in the world, I will be here. If you run into anything, it's like, you know what, I'd like to run this by Cliff. Feel free to join me anytime.
Well, thank you, Cliff. God bless you.
All right, God bless you.
You're
Many
precious.
blessings.
You have a great day, brother.
All right, you
Bye
too. Bye
bye.
bye. All right, I am still going to hang out here. If anybody else wants to pop up here in Zoom, you just go to cliffravenscraft.com/join. Um, there's no agenda here. If I'm gonna wait around for, let's just say it is 2:53. I'll wait around for 7 minutes to see if anybody joins me. Now, if somebody joins me, I'll stick around for as long as you want. And if nobody joins me, that's perfectly fine as well. I don't need anyone to join me here. I'm just wanting, I have plenty of free time to be of service today. So if you would like to join me via Zoom, it's over at cliffravenscraft.com/join. It, any way I could be of support and encouragement to you at all, any topic, nothing's off the table. So 4 more minutes. I will stick around. Of course, I will stick around for even another hour or so. If anybody does want to join me, no pressure whatsoever. But if there's anybody on the live stream and you'd like to have a conversation, anything, we can talk about anything you want. Don't feel any pressure, but I'm just here to be of support and encouragement. But I will stick around on Zoom here for 4 more minutes and until 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's currently 2:56. To join me on the Zoom call, it is cliffravenscraft.com/join. If you go to that URL, there's a button. You'll be able to pop right on in here. If you're actually out there watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can type in a comment and I will see it. I will interact with you and say hello if you want to stop in and just say hello. But as far as conversations, those are reserved for the Zoom participants who join me. I'm looking to be of any support and encouragement to anybody about anything. I'm just checking over here to see if there's any comments that have come in on LinkedIn. Okay, no comments have come in via LinkedIn. Let's see what kind of fun notifications we got from LinkedIn here. Messages. All right. I haven't seen anybody else pop into the Zoom call here. No worries at all, my friends. It's a delight to be with you. For those of you, I do see there are a handful of you out there who have been streaming this entire time. Thank you for just your being out there. It's been good to know that you are there. I appreciate you. I wish you all many blessings. I will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. If I go over to cliffravenscraft.com/join, by the way, check this out. This is one of the things that I've recently done is I go over to, I can click into my Kajabi, and I'm going to go right now and turn the ability to join me on Zoom off and hit save. And so now if you go to that page, the link to join me on Zoom is no longer there. I'm going to end the Zoom call. So the Zoom call is now closed. Anyway, it says, how may I serve you? It's got the dates and times of future sessions, and I'm going to remove Monday, August 11th off since we have completed today's session. So now if you refresh the page again, it shows you that I will be here tomorrow from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be here Wednesday, August 13th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Thursday, I will be here on the 14th starting at 2 p.m. and I will go until 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So, yeah, that's my future schedule. Many blessings, and hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.